Hello everyone, welcome back again to another video. Glad to have you back again. So I have a question for you. Have you been struggling with your chest press or your bench press or whatever you want to call it? In this video, I'm going to be showing you some of the ways, some of the methods that you can, adopt that can help you perform this exercise properly. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, before I show you how to perform this exercise properly, I'm going to give you a background info about your chest. The muscles, right? The chest muscles or pecs. So basically, there are three major muscle groups that make up your chest. So we're going to look at the pectoralis major, the pectoralis minor, and the serratus anterior, okay? Okay, so the first one is the pectoralis major. That's the major chest muscle group that is very visible, right? When you really develop it, it's gonna look very visible. It's gonna look very huge. Okay, that's why it's called pectoralis major. It helps you flex, your shoulder joint. Kind of helps you bring your arm towards you and away from you. And also, when you bring your arm closer towards you, it sort of contracts your chest, right? So when you bring your arm past the neutral line of your body, you're sort of contracting your muscle. So that's the major part, the major function of the pectoralis major. So the pectoralis minor is a minor muscle of your chest. It's kind of like a triangular shaped muscle that's hidden behind the pectoralis major. Its function basically is just to pull your shoulders up and down, Now let's dive to the serratus anterior. This one is not usually considered one of the chest muscle groups because it's kind of away from the chest, right? It's around the side. So its function is basically to help you contract and retract your shoulder blades, right? So kind of bring your shoulder blades together and pull it away. So yeah, now that we've talked about that, let's head on to the exercise itself. Bench press or chest press or whatever you want to call it, or barbell press, barbell bench press. I could keep going. But hey, let's get started. Before you start pressing the barbell, you want to make sure the weight is not too heavy so you don't compromise your form. So you want to start light, especially if you're a beginner, right? Start light, go easy. You can even start without weight. You can start without putting weight on the barbell. You can take all the weight off. Just use the barbell and practice your arm width, your strength level, practice the form, practice the range of motion, see how it works first before you actually put some weight on, some plate on it, and then start benching. So that's just something to have in mind there. But anyway, let's imagine that you've gained some strength already and you already have plates on the barbell. So now we begin. The first question that I usually get from some people is how far should my arms be? Like my arm be, like your arm width, right? How far should they be? So that differs for everybody because some people have longer limbs or longer arms compared to others. Actually, before you press, the first thing you should do is make sure you contracted your back, basically pulling your shoulders together, your shoulder blades together, sorry. So what you want to do is bring your shoulder blades together. It will form like an arch, okay? And you know what? That arch kind of helps you prevent shoulder injury because if you have like a flat back when you're benching, okay, you can, your shoulders can sort of take over, and then that might cause some shoulder pain or shoulder injury when you're pressing. So you want to avoid that by sort of forming an arch when you're benching. If you're arching your back, you don't have to arch it all the way. Some people overdo it by doing this. That is wrong, absolutely wrong. You shouldn't arch your back all the way. All you have to do is bring your shoulder blades together and then it naturally forms an arch. You don't have to arch your lower back, okay? The goal is not to arch your lower back, it's to arch your upper back. And the way to do it, start from the top, bring your shoulder blades together, and then boom, that's it. Now your shoulder blades are together, you don't have to do much. All you have to do is ensure you keep your shoulder blades together while you're bench pressing. So that's it. Keep your shoulder blades together while you're bench pressing, no matter what. Don't release them. Otherwise, once you do that, your shoulders are gonna take over the bench press, and it's just gonna compromise your form and also the amount of reps you'll be able to do, because your shoulders are gonna give out before your chest muscles do. So just bear in mind, always keep your shoulder blades together when you're bench pressing. So once you form that arch, once you've brought your shoulder blades together and you form that arch, now you're ready to bench, okay? So when you bench, okay, you form the arch, bring your shoulder blades together, and then you just figure out what length, what width works for you, okay? The distance of your arms, right? So what you can do is use an empty barbell without plate on it, and then figure out what weight works for you that would make you have a straight arm when you pressed it down, okay? Once you've taken the barbell down, okay, if your arm is straight, now if you see the line that I'm talking about, if it's straight, then that's the best weight for you, okay? So once you pull it up, check both sides of your arm, see if it's straight once it's down. If it's straight, then it's good, and then you pull it back up, okay? So that's how you figure out your arm weight, okay? So bring it down. If it's straight on both sides, that's good, so pull it back up, okay? Don't bring your arms too close. If it's too close, now look at that, it's not straight anymore, right? Yeah, once you've pressed it down, it's not straight. Also, when you put your arms far away, you see that it's not very straight, and also your shoulder muscles will take over once your arms are far away. So you want to make sure it's straight when you go down. That way, it's just your chest muscles that are working, okay? Well, not just your chest, your shoulders will also help, but I mean, your shoulders will still be working if you're pressing your shoulders and your triceps, okay? Those are all the muscle groups that you would use to bench press. But if your arms are like really spaced out, it takes the focus away from the chest muscles and, you know, redirects it to your shoulder muscles, and that can cause injury. So be very careful. Now let's explain the motion of your arms when you're benching. Now think of it as this: if you're benching, or if you're bench pressing, if you're doing the bench press, okay, think of it as trying to push something. When you try to push something, look at the motion of your arms, okay? When you push, you don't just push like this. You don't push like this, right? You start to bring your arm from the bottom. If you're trying to push something away from you, you push this way. You see that motion? That is how you're supposed to bench, okay? Your arm doesn't go on a straight line when you're benching, okay? So take note of that. That is very important. Now, another thing that I want to address is the bench press touching your chest, okay? There isn't like a requirement for that, for the bench press to touch your chest, okay? The main thing is you should bring the barbell very close to your chest. Okay? It doesn't have to touch your chest. Okay? Some people say, hey, if it didn't touch your chest, you're cheating. It's not a full range of motion or whatever. The issue that I have with that sometimes is, you know, when you bring it all the way down, it can create room for an injury, okay? Because when you're doing that, you're sort of extending your chest muscle. Because if you think about it, your chest muscles attaches to your arm, okay? And when you're really extending that arm, well, it can possibly cause a pec tear, especially if you're taking steroids and all of these drugs out there that can make you more susceptible to injuries. So that's just something to think about, okay? I'm not certain, and it's not a certainty for sure. It's not a guarantee that you're gonna get injured if you put it all the way to your chest, but there's a possibility of an injury occurring if you're doing that. So what you wanna do is just bring it close to your chest, you know, close, but it doesn't necessarily have to touch your chest, okay? or you don't have to bounce it on your chest. You don't have to bounce. I kind of find it funny when people do that. So that's just something to bear in mind. Yeah, I believe I've covered the majority of the questions that people have when they're bench pressing. If you have any other questions, or if you need me to show you more videos like this, please let me know in the comments. And once again, I appreciate the like and the the new subscribers. So please keep subscribing and keep liking this comment for the YouTube algorithm. Let's get this channel up there. And one other thing is, I forgot to mention, my name is Douglas Okwara. If you guys are new here and you don't know me, it's Douglas here, personal coach of Do Fitness, boldly written. So thanks for watching. I hope I see you in the next video. If I don't see you in the next video, you and I are gonna have a problem. So guess that wraps it up here. Have a good day, have a good night, whatever time is at your side. Peace, bro. Now, the last technique that I forgot to mention is the part where your legs are spaced out and planted on the ground, okay? So you want to keep them spaced out, planted on the ground, because if you're bench pressing, it involves your core. It's not just your chest that's doing the work, okay? It takes up, like a lot of muscle groups are involved, not just your chest, not just your triceps, not just your shoulders, okay? Your abs are involved, your lower back is involved, your legs are involved too, okay? So you want to make sure everything is coordinated, okay? Because if one side is lacking, for example, if you put your legs together and bench press a heavy weight, you realize your lower back is gonna trying to compensate for your legs not helping out. So you want to make sure your legs are spaced out, planted on the ground, okay? That way everything is all ready to go. All the muscle groups are ready to go and ready to do their job to help you bench press that weight. So just keep that in mind, and you can try this experiment, okay? Try bench pressing with your legs together rather than spaced out and see the difference. And then come back here and comment and let me know if I'm right or I'm wrong. So just thought I should let you know. How you doing?